You're in your kitchen and you're cooking away. You're preparing your food, you're chopping things up. How annoying is it when you have dirty hands having to reach for your drawer to get to your knives? Worst of all, if you're like me, you're stressed when you're cooking, so you're rushing and you might accidentally pick up the knife from the wrong end and cut yourself. It would be so much easier if the knives were within reach. So I have a very sharp idea. I'm talking a knife block, but not one, two of them. For the first one, I've got some Tassie oak. It's a nice Australian hardwood that's readily available. I've got two sizes here, a 30 by 8 and a 90 by 19. And the first thing I need to do is cut them all to the same size. I'm making my knife block 360mm long and it's going to hold 8 knives. But it's up to you how big you make it, really, depending on the size of your knives and how many you have. Another good thing to remember is, because I'm cutting them all the same size, I'm not measuring each one individually. I measure the first one and that becomes my pattern to trace all the rest. Now all the pieces are cut, we're ready to assemble. The way it works is we've got a big bit, got a small bit, and another one on top. And we keep going up. We end up with gaps like these, and that's where our knives go. To put it together, I'll be gluing and nailing it. When you are gluing these pieces together, it does get a little bit slippery, so it's a good idea just to move it side to side. And what that does is it spreads the glue evenly, but also it helps hold it in place for when you put the nail in. If you are finding it hard but still struggling, you can use a couple of clamps to hold it before you fix it off. People always said I was a chip off the old block. Here's the proof. And that's a knife block all nailed up. Now, I did make this 360mm long, which has given me a bit of play to trim up these edges. They're pretty good, but you can see that they step in and out about 1 mil to ½ mil. So I'm going to square a line and then use my homemade saw guide to trim it up, which will give me nice laser cuts. But because this is 90mm wide, I will have to come through one side, then flip it over and repeat the process. This Tassie oak is already a dressed timber, so you don't need to use a low grit paper to finish it off. I'm using 120 grit just to get out any inconsistencies where I've laminated it together, and also just go around the sharp edges. To finish the block off, I'm just sealing it with an orange oil, which is food safe, and you can see it just makes the colours in this Tassie oak just pop. It's beautiful. Now, depending on how much you use your block, you can apply this oil once a month or every 6 months. It just keeps it nice and sealed and smelling nice. How gorgeous does that look? And it was an easy build. And the best part is, the next block is even easier. For the second knife block, this one won't be sitting on the bench, it will be sitting on the wall. And I'm using a scrap bit of spotted gum decking board. Now, this used to be 90mm wide, but I've decided to rip it down to 65. But you can keep it however wide and make it however long you like. The first thing I need to do is sit it in this homemade jig and route her out a channel. I need to make this channel 15mm deep, and it's important to remember not to try and do this in one pass because it's very dangerous. The router can grab and throw the timber into you. So a better way to do it is to do multiple passes. I'm going over it 3 times, 5mm each time. And the reason for the channel is to hold some magnets, and the magnets will hold our knives to the board. Now, the reason I made it 15mm deep is because I only wanted to be left with 3 to 4mm of timber. That way, the magnet has enough strength to hold our knives in place. And to hold them in place, I'm just going to be using some glue. It's finish it off, I'm just putting a couple of brackets on the back which will hold it to the wall and sealing it up with some orange oil. Job's done. I think that come up a treat. There you go. I think blocks like these would make a great addition to anyone's kitchen. I've seen designer hardwood blocks just like this sell for over $200 in shops. The materials for this one was around $60. The one on the wall here was even less, under $30. And the best thing about it is you can knock these up in a couple of hours on a weekend.